This is the CarpodGo Mini, a portable touchscreen dashboard console that brings modern connectivity to virtually any vehicle. The Mini is positioned a bit differently from CarpodGo's T3 Pro screen that I reviewed recently. Instead of focusing on a larger screen, it's designed for smaller cars, drivers who prefer a more compact display, and users looking for a more budget-friendly option. But the real question is whether that smaller 6.9-inch screen actually feels limiting once you start using CarPlay or Android Auto. We'll take a look at that once we get it installed in the car. And just so you know, CarpodGo provided the device for me to make this video, though as always all the thoughts and opinions are my own. If you like what you see, I've got an affiliate link in the description below, and using the code LensOfJames at checkout will get a discount on your order from CarpodGo.com. With that out of the way, let's get stuck into the video. The CarpodGo Mini features a 6.9-inch fully laminated IPS display with a 1600 by 720 resolution and a brightness rating of up to 1000 nits. The screen runs smoothly at 60 frames per second, giving you fluid navigation and media playback. The Mini also introduces a MagSafe style magnetic mounting system and supports wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, along with CarpodGo's Pure Display Bluetooth mode for a clean and flexible audio setup. You can also add an optional 1080p rear camera with a unique no-wire method of bringing up the reversing screen, which I'll be showing later, providing a full screen view of what's happening behind your vehicle. Taking the CarpodGo Mini out of the box, you're greeted by a handy instruction manual and then a compact 6.9-inch display with a clean, modern design with nice curved corners. Compared to the larger T3 Pro, the Mini takes a much more minimal approach. The bezels are fairly thin and uniform all the way around the display, giving it a look and size that's closer to a modern smartphone or tablet, and flipping it over reveals a smooth matte back that continues the clean design language. The unit is also very slim at just 13mm thick. There are no built-in speakers here, only a magnetic mount ring, and along the edge you'll only see 3 ports: a microSD card slot for updating the device, a USB-C port for power, and a 2.5mm port for attaching an optional rear-view camera to help with reversing. Although there's a memory card slot, this doesn't mean that a connected camera will double up as a rear dash cam, however. Inside the box you'll find a smart braided USB-C power cable, a USB-C to USB-C adapter for extra compatibility, and the magnetic mount. Designed in the style of MagSafe, the mount is minimal, metal and very solid, providing a firm hold to the back of the screen. It'll stick to the dashboard via a VHB pad, and there's a spare in the box in case you need it. The screen itself has Bluetooth playback only, though you can get extra accessories from the CarpodGo website to help with cars that don't have Bluetooth. Up first is a USB-A to aux Bluetooth receiver. And then there's a 12V FM transmitter. I'll go through both and what they're capable of a little later in the video. Installing the CarpodGo Mini in your vehicle takes just 5 minutes and you can do it yourself very easily. I'm installing it in a Peugeot 107 and I do think this screen is especially suited to smaller vehicles. First, peel back the film from the sticky pad and stick it down to your chosen dashboard location. Then you can simply magnetically attach the screen to the mount and adjust to get an angle you like. Because the Mini is more compact than larger consoles, it's easier to place in tighter dashboard spaces. Finally, plug the USB-C cable into the power port with the other end going into your vehicle's 12V socket. You'll need an adapter if you don't have one already, or get the optional FM transmitter. The Mini supports USB-C power with power delivery protocol, and once the cable is connected, the device powers on automatically when you start the vehicle. That's really all there is to it. The only optional step is hiding the cables. Every vehicle's trim comes apart slightly differently, but most panels simply pop off. I fed the wire down through the dashboard and could then pop the trim back in place for a neat finish. It's time to get the screen turned on and see how well the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto connection actually performs in real driving. Turning the Mini on, the screen quality stands out immediately. It's sharp and vibrant, and once the company logo disappears, you're greeted with a clean, ultra-minimal home screen. The device runs on a lightweight Linux operating system, which helps keep boot times fast and the interface very responsive. In my testing, it reconnects to my phone in just a few seconds after starting the car, which is exactly what you want from a system like this. Let's dive into the apps and settings to see what the Mini can do, and if you notice any flickering or lines on the screen in this video, it's just my camera and not the display itself, which is crystal clear. We'll start with CarPlay. Tapping the app brings up connection instructions for iPhone users, and the next app, Android Auto, follows the same process. The Mini uses dual-band Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5.0 to maintain the wireless connection, which helps keep navigation and media playback running smoothly. The next button is tyre pressure. I asked CarpodGo about this, and they said this feature currently only has an icon and is still under internal testing while they verify stability, so it may or may not be available with future firmware updates. Then you have brightness, and this takes you to the settings menu, which is pretty extensive. The screen doesn't come set to its brightest, but when you press the test button, you get an idea of how bright the 1000 nits screen actually is, more than capable for bright driving conditions. You can set the brightness on a day or night timer, or use the light sensor option for auto dimming. The next home screen button gives you access to system, Bluetooth, display, interconnectivity, camera, tyre pressure and sound settings. The settings are very extensive and I won't go through them all now, but some of the standout features are the ability to change out of the ultra minimalist theme with a more colourful one. This completely changes the icons too, and they aren't dissimilar to phone apps, and I quite like it. Under display and screen, you can rotate the display 180 degrees in case that works better for you or your power cable. As mentioned, the brightness adjustability is a huge bonus, and there's lots of ways to fine-tune the rear camera if you install one. The final option on the home screen is audio output, and pressing it only brings up an image because the CarpodGo Mini is doing something a little different here. First off, there's no built-in speaker. They're often basic and a bit tinny, so no real loss in my opinion. But the way the Mini handles audio is interesting. Essentially, you don't connect the Mini to your car stereo. You connect your phone to the stereo and then connect the Mini to your phone. Your phone controls what plays on the Mini screen as well as the method of playback on the stereo, be that Bluetooth, aux, or using an additional Bluetooth or FM transmitter. The optional Bluetooth transmitter plugs into your aux and Bluetooth ports if you have them, and works by creating a Bluetooth signal for your vehicle. If you don't have an aux port, a USB port, or either of them, the FM transmitter could be the solution for you. It's a plug for your 12-volt port and has a USB-C port for powering the screen, plus a USB-A port for powering another device, and a second USB-A port to play music via a USB stick. There's a built-in microphone, buttons to change to the next song and control calls, a microSD card slot for playing music, and a multifunction dial to change frequency, volume and answer calls. To connect to it, pair to the adapter on your phone's Bluetooth, and then select the identical frequency on your car radio. Using direct Bluetooth from your phone to the stereo will also keep your steering wheel controls working with the Mini, but they won't work when using FM or aux connections. One of the main reasons people buy a dashboard console like the Mini is to use CarPlay or Android Auto. For both systems, you connect to the screen by finding the Mini's Bluetooth on your phone, allowing permissions, and from then on, whenever the screen starts, it will connect to your phone and bring up the navigation and music player of your choice. Once connected, you can split the screen between navigation and a music app, or switch to full screen navigation. Even with the Mini's compact display, it's still far easier to follow directions than using your phone. Notifications can be read aloud, and you can reply using voice commands. Voice Assistant is also built in, so you can ask questions or control apps completely hands-free. On the side of the screen, there's a quick access bar for jumping between frequently used apps, while the grid icon opens the full list of compatible apps installed on your phone. Before testing the Mini, I was curious about whether the small screen would feel limiting compared to the larger T3 Pro. In practice, it works surprisingly well. Navigation is still easy to read, and because the display is closer to your line of sight than a phone, it feels like a big upgrade over just using your phone on a mount. One of the other things I really like about CarpodGo is that they concentrate on just a couple of products and constantly develop them, so you will get regular firmware updates through their website. And there are two ways to install them. You can download them onto a microSD card, insert that into the screen, and run the update through the system settings. Or you can connect to Wi-Fi in the system settings, and then go to OTA Update and scan the QR code. I always like to have a rear view camera when reversing, and having a compatible screen like the CarpodGo Mini in your car adds an extra layer of practicality to your setup. The optional 1080p rear camera connects using a 6-meter cable and plugs directly into the Mini. You've also got strong adjustability for the camera in the settings, so you can get it just how you want it, and I always like turning on reversing lines found here under static trajectory. Toggling on gesture trigger means you can even use the rear camera without connecting the red trigger wire. Under gesture activation, you can see that simply swiping from the edge of the screen brings up the rear camera, which is a super handy feature. Being such a fast and responsive screen, it works instantly without any lag. If you do want the rear cam to appear automatically as soon as you put the car in reverse, then you'll need to connect the camera's red trigger wire to your reversing light wire. I've made a full installation video showing exactly how to wire it up, which you'll find linked in the top right corner of this video or in the description below. While every vehicle is different, the overall process is usually much easier than people think. No matter how you use the rear cam, don't forget this is just a reversing camera and no footage is being recorded. Prices vary by retailer, but the CarpodGo Mini retails for around £90 or $120, which I think is great value for the level of design and quality of the screen. If you buy from CarpodGo.com, be sure to use my code LensOfJames at checkout to get a discount off your order. I've left affiliate links to both the CarpodGo store and the Amazon listing in the description below, which helps support this channel. I've tested quite a few dashboard consoles over the years, and the CarpodGo Mini is a really interesting addition to the lineup. Instead of focusing on screen size, it prioritizes a cleaner, more minimal design that works well in smaller vehicles and tighter dashboard spaces. I get that this won't be for everyone, and some may say why not just use a phone, but CarPlay and Android Auto are such great tools for hands-free navigation, music and notifications that I personally wouldn't want to be without a separate screen. The crystal clear, bright display with a fluid 60 frames per second is a pleasure to use. Plus the magnetic mounting system keeps the install minimalistic, which is what this entire setup is all about. Honestly, there's not much more to say. It just worked consistently and reliably, and I think it's probably earned a permanent spot on this Peugeot 107's dashboard. If you've made it this far, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to be the first to see more tech videos just like this. Thanks for watching.